Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 152, Gratitude Unexpected. Hello, hello, hello. And if you're in the U.S., probably happy Thanksgiving. And I'm recording this before Thanksgiving. I wanted to do an episode on gratitude with a twist. And there's just so many gratitude things happening right now because it's Thanksgiving. And so we're, as Americans, asked to reflect on what we're thankful for. And there's so many things that I am thankful for this year. I'm going to share a few of them with you today. I also want to talk about when to not use gratitude as a way to make yourself feel better. And so that's going to be the second part of this podcast episode. But the first part, I really do think for me, it's important to share with you what I am thankful for. I am thankful for so many things. And I've mentioned this in my emails and my podcast before, but this podcast and me sharing and thinking about what I'm thankful for is hopefully an invitation for you to do the same exercise so that you can feel good and you can acknowledge everything that you're thankful for. But really the process of me doing that is as much for you to learn something and to change your life as it is for me. So just sitting down with my journal and consciously asking myself, what am I thankful for this year? And then remembering all of these things and seeing what comes up in my brain and writing them down is super helpful and healing for me. It helps me acknowledge everything in my life, my friendships, my relationships, all of it. And I feel good about that when I do that. So much of this podcast is for me and working through my things as it is and hopefully helping you work through your things. And a lot of times I talk to other coaches or other entrepreneurs as well. And really anytime you do something that's pretty big, like having your own business. So for me, having my own business and, helping people stop over drinking. I have to be very public with that since it's an online business, right? So there's marketing involved and, I'm saying sometimes controversial things that you can have whatever relationship you want to have with alcohol. And when I put myself out there, or you put yourself out there, or you make a big goal like stopping over drinking, and that asks you to depart from society, the norm of society, whereas our society teaches us that we should be able to drink whatever we want at any time we want. And if you don't, or if you can't, then there's a problem with you. Right? So that's sort of the messaging that our society tells us. And when you decide to change your relationship with alcohol and buy into what I'm telling you, that you get to decide what that relationship looks like from a very empowering and knowing place, and you go against drinking at every function and going against saying yes to the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth drinks, or maybe you are going to Thanksgiving, you're saying no to drinks. You are going against what people expect of you, right? Or what our people think that we should do, right? And that feels very uncomfortable sometimes. And so me going big in my business feels very uncomfortable sometimes. It brings up all of your doubts, your worries, internal dialogues that you have about yourself. And now I use my business as an opportunity to dig deeper into me and what I think about myself, how I feel about myself. Is there anything in there that needs to be healed? That sort of thing. So getting back to what I was saying originally, me writing and me sharing is so much too about me working through some of those insecurities and healing, and any goal that we have that you do, that you might decide to do, like over drinking, and it goes against kind of what our norm is, or what our society's norm is, or what our society has shaped you as, or your friends and family have labeled you as, that feels uncomfortable, and it's okay. So I'm thankful for that. That's the number one, is like, I'm thankful for my ability to not worry about what other people might perceive my intentions to be. I know within myself what they are, and that's the most important thing for me. And I hope that that comes through. It's hard to kind of put that into words sometimes, but just remember, what you think about you is the most important opinion to consider. Okay? So I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful for vaccines. And I don't want to open this up to a vaccine debate, but I'm actually really thankful that I got vaccinated, that my husband got vaccinated. My oldest kid has now fully vaccinated. My two youngest have had their first round. And really, it's more about the energy that is in our household, and like my husband not living in fear and my kids not living in fear about catching COVID, and like the impact of what that would mean if somebody got sick. And so for me, the vaccine is more of a peace of mind, and we feel safer to move around in the world and in our lives, in our community, that we're not hurting anybody else, and that we have less of a chance of getting sick ourselves. So I'm very thankful for vaccines. The vaccine has allowed myself to travel more and to feel more freedom in traveling and getting on an airplane. Whereas before the vaccine, that, because we do really care about not spreading the virus, that would have meant, hotel quarantines and multiple tests and a lot more actions that we would have to take to be able to do the things that we actually want to be doing. So I'm very thankful for that. I'm also very thankful for my clients. I love you all so much. I'm also thankful to the listeners, but my clients, the ones who have committed themselves and dedicated themselves to figuring out how to stop over drinking and how to start living the life that they want to live, I really want you to hear my gratitude, because you teach me so much. You and your willingness to show up in your vulnerability and share the underlying reasons to why you're drinking and ask me for help is a very high honor. And I love you so much. And I'm so thankful that I get to coach with you all several times a week, communicate with you in our Facebook group, and serve you. I'm very, very thankful. Thank you. I'm also super thankful for my kids and my husband, my little immediate family who we share the same roof. We share our day-to-day activities. I really I'm just so thankful for every single bit of all of it. My kids are amazing, even though they are super challenging, and they push my comfort levels every single day, multiple times a day. I love them so hard. And my husband, who is my biggest fan, who constantly is supportive of me and my dreams, and is like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Whenever I have some crazy idea, he's like, I'm all in. And I would not be here doing this in the capacity that I am, with full on supporting so many people all the time, if I didn't have the support of him on the home front with the kids and being more than an equal partner with the family. So thank you, honey. My beautiful, amazing group of friends. There's so many of them. I am so, so lucky to have a beautiful, diverse friendship network. I can't even with how amazing my friends are. I have met friends online, people that I went to coach training with that live across the ocean, live across the country, where I have the most deepest, compelling, real conversations that I've had in my whole life with. I'm friends with people that I went to high school and college with. I have a group of local friends who have been with me on this whole journey that has completely changed my life. I held a engagement party this past weekend for one of my friends who's getting married, and it was a Hawaiian themed engagement party. So I ordered flowers to have, and we all made our own leis. So this florist put together this beautiful lei kit for everybody that came, and we, with needle and thread, and we created beautiful leis and crowns for ourselves. And we dressed up in Hawaiian flowers and we made Hawaiian food. And one of my friends read a poem. My other friend did a hula dance. She actually lived in Hawaii and is a part of that culture. And she's part of a hula group that dances and learns how to dance every week. And she performed for us. It was the most magical and beautiful experience I've ever had with this group of friends. And we've been friends for 9 years, ever since I moved to North Carolina. That's when I met them. And I was telling this to my clients, the transformation of this group of people, like every single person that came to this party on Saturday has completely transformed their life in this amount of time. And it's so fascinating to observe and to watch and to see, like, we are all evolving and growing together. And to have a big group of friends that do that together at the same time, like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around, like, how I got that in my life. And I just love them so much. So I'm so thankful for my friends. I'm also thankful for therapy this year. I had seen a therapist occasionally in my past, but nothing on a regular basis. And I started seeing a regular therapist every week to deep dive into some things about my past. And it has been extremely helpful for me to learn more about myself, for me to allow space for me to process some feelings that I didn't even know were there that needed to be processed. Highly, highly valuable in my life. I'm very thankful for that. And I'm thankful for myself in that process too, because it's very uncomfortable. Like, it's excruciating sometimes, and I still go every week, and even when I don't want to. And every time I go, it's just helps me heal from a lot of the things that I didn't know I needed healing from. So if you are in therapy, if you've explored therapy before, if you've never explored therapy, if you have opinions about it, I think also it depends on if you have a connection with your person and, making sure that it's a good fit for you and it's helping. But I'm very thankful that that's an option for me. And of course, life coaching is always, I do still get regular coaching. I've added the therapy. I've also added in some body healing work, which has been amazing. I'm thankful for that as well. Some spiritual type work. So I'm like, all hands on deck for this Angela Mascenik. And to live a big life, we need support. We need a lot of mental support. And I'm not ashamed of that at all. So I'm very thankful for my therapist. I'm also thankful that I decided this year to create some big boundaries for myself with my work, with my family, with friendships, for myself, and learning how to say no more, to honor my energy, to honor my time. Learning how to create boundaries in all of the aspects of my life has really helped me conserve my energy so that I can do the things that I want to do and go bigger and help more people. So I'm very thankful that I had the ideas to create boundaries. I actually did create the boundary and then followed through, even though it's very, very hard to do, even though in the process, I know that I have hurt people and said no to people that normally maybe I wouldn't have said that to before. But I do feel like it's worth it. So for all of you all who are working on saying no and having some boundaries, I hear you. I know it's hard, but it's worth it. What was my other list? Fear. I'm thankful for fear because I am sure if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard about my great Alaskan adventure where I went ice climbing and the fear that came along with that. And I'm thankful for the fear that I can recognize and say, you know what? It's okay that you're scared. We're doing it anyway. And I'm thankful for the fear that tells me, maybe you shouldn't do that thing. Maybe this is legitimate fear. So I'm thankful for fear because I do feel like sometimes it guides me in the right way and allows me to go further than I would have before, even with the fear on board. And I'm thankful for having my own back on the decisions that I've made. It's so easy for us to go big or make a goal, make a decision, and then if it doesn't work out for us or it didn't go as planned, for us to be like, see, that was the wrong decision. See, you shouldn't have done it that way. You're a total screw up. And even though my brain wants to tell me that sometimes, I am thankful that I don't entertain that and that I say, no, you made the right decision in the time. You did the best that you could. You can learn from this and you can keep going forward. But I always try to have my own back on what I have done. And I've gone big this year in so many different things, and departed even further from the norm. So I love that I can do that for myself. So I'm very thankful that I can do that. Okay, so those are my big things. That's a lot. I'm grateful for so many things. The color of the leaves this fall, my body, my mind. There's just so much more that I could go on, but those are the big things. And now I want to shift to when not to use gratitude to make yourself feel better. So it's really not that hard to ask yourself, what am I thankful for? When we tend to want to do this is when we're suffering, though. So like if you are really suffering, or you are, really being hard on yourself, or you're going through something really painful. Okay, so say you're having a family conflict, right? And it feels hard, and maybe it didn't go your way, and you tell yourself like, this really sucks, but I should be thankful that I have my kids, or I should be thankful that I have a roof over my head, and a good job, and blah blah blah. So we sort of dismiss the actual pain that we're in, and we bypass that by saying things like, I am thankful for, or I should be thankful for, I should focus on these things that are good. And while all that might be helpful, I don't think it's super helpful long term, because when you do that, you aren't acknowledging the pain that you are in and working on it, right? And seeing it for exactly what it is. Instead, you just sort of bypass yourself, and you're like, well, at least my parents are still alive, or at least, I haven't lost a child, or at least I haven't blah, blah, blah. And you compare your pain that you are in to somebody else who has had it worse than you. It does nobody any good, right? It doesn't help the person who has had pain that you're comparing yourself to. It just doesn't. And it doesn't help you acknowledge that your life could be hard, or you're experiencing something hard in your life. And when we think about over drinking, it all comes down to your feelings and your emotions that you have in your life. So if you're suffering with maybe what you think is like some superficial problem, like some first world problem, which I hate that term, and it's not worthy of a time or attention or getting help on, and you're like, well, at least I should be thankful for this, I just need to focus on this, and it's still causing issues in your life, it deserves a second look. It deserves for you not to do that, and to just look at it once and not say, I'm thankful that, etc., etc. Why can't we just accept that we are hurting and acknowledge that, and thank ourselves for allowing ourselves to validate our own feelings, instead of making it blander or pushing our own suffering under the rug when it doesn't need to be pushed under. So I'm not a big fan of the whole mantra thing, where we're just repeating thankfulness, gratitude type things, unless we are also acknowledging maybe what we're not thankful for. That's also okay. It's also okay to acknowledge the hard things in our life and not dismiss them or diminish them because they're not as bad as somebody else. Does that make sense? So when you don't want to do that is when you haven't really taken the time to look at what is causing you the pain, acknowledging that it is your pain. It does deserve some attention, and there's nothing wrong with that, and you don't need to bypass yourself for that. So that's just, when we do that, we carry around that negative energy. We say, well, I should be thankful for this because of these other things in my life, but we're still upset about the original thing, and we carry that energy with us, and then we drink at the end of the day, or we show up at the holidays and we want to eat all the food, or yell at our family members, or do other things that is just evidence of this emotion needing to be expressed and looked at. So to let yourself be seen by yourself and to acknowledge how you're feeling without saying I should be thankful for something is super important for you to move past over drinking or any other behavior that isn't serving you in your life. So all of that to say, I think both are a great exercise, okay? You should make a list of the things that you are grateful for, and then don't bypass yourself when you are hurting in some area of your life or there's a problem, and compare it to other people's, or think that you shouldn't feel that way because so many other things are great in your life. Okay? So that's my gratitude post for this amazing 2021 Thanksgiving week. I love you all so much. And if you are interested in joining my coaching program, you can click through to the link, watch the 3 videos. I am taking in my last handful of people before I shut down registrations for the rest of this year. And my current offering to you is that you get an additional month for free. So it's a 6-month coaching program. If you apply and you're accepted now, I am giving you an extra month, so you will get through May into June, I believe, of 2022, and have the support on hand when you need it most, which is during the holidays, when we have all sorts of opportunities to be triggered and for things to come up, and opportunities for practice to look at to the root of why we're drinking in the first place. I love you all. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. I hope you have a beautiful week, and I'll talk to you soon.